Alaikum. This is Chemistry 11th, and our today's lecture is about molecular orbital theory. Now, before going through this theory, I would like to recall you that we have discussed the various theories regarding the formation of this covalent bond, uh, how this covalent bond is formed, and we have discussed the valence bond theory. But because of its it is demerits, the various drawbacks of molecule, this valence bond theory, this was then replaced by this molecular orbital theory, which is a more rational one. Now we have seen in valence bond theory there are various drawbacks of that theory. That is uh, that in the formation of this molecule, as per this valence bond theory, we see the nucleus of one of the bonding atoms. It is bound to affect all the atomic orbitals of other atom with which it combines, and vice versa. So we see that the atomic orbitals get affected. Similarly, as far as this valence bond theory is concerned, it fails to explain the paramagnetic character of certain molecules, like we have got oxygen molecule. Similarly, as per this valence bond theory, it also failed to explain the formation of odd electron these molecules or ions, like we have got hydrogen molecular ion, and that is H2 plus, where no pairing of electrons takes place. Similarly, this valence bond theory, it also failed us, rather it failed to explain and that in certain cases, in case of molecules showing resonance, where we see that there are several structures, resonance structures or canonical structures, each of which equally explaining some of the properties of that molecule, but none explaining the all. So such a molecule exists has got is represented by a resonance hybrid. So these are the various drawbacks of this valence bond theory. Then this theory, it was replaced by molecular orbital theory, and as far as this theory is concerned, this theory was put forth by this Hund and Mulliken in 1932 and 19 and 13 to explain the formation of these covalent bonds. Now, as far as this theory is concerned, it is more rational as compared to this. It is more rational in comparison to the valence bond theory. Now, according to this theory, this molecular orbital theory, all the atomic orbitals of the participating atoms, that is the atomic orbitals of the atoms which are taking part or which are involved in chemical bonding, they get disturbed when the concerned nuclei, or when the nuclei of these these atoms, they approach each other, they they all get these atomic orbitals of the concerned atoms, as per this molecular orbital theory, they get mixed to give rise to an equal number of new orbitals, which are called as molecular orbitals. And these molecular orbitals, they belong to the molecule which is formed. So the electrons belonging originally to the participating atoms or to the bonding atoms, they are regarded, or they are considered to move in these molecular orbitals which belong to the whole molecule, under the influence of the nuclei of the participating atoms. So we can say these molecular orbitals, they are polycentric. They are, whereas these atomic orbitals, they are monocentric. They belong to one atom only. Whereas these molecular orbitals, they belong to the number of the atoms bonding atoms, so they are polycentric in nature. Now, as far as this molecular orbital theory is concerned, since as given by this Hound and Miracle, we have got various postulates of this theory. I would like to tell you some of the postulates. Let me first of all tell you this: what is this now? A molecular orbital. So, a molecular orbital, it is a region in space consisting of the nuclei of the bonding atoms or the combining atoms around which there is maximum probability of finding the electron density. This is molecular orbital which results from the combination of these from the combination of the atomic orbitals. On the other hand, we see that in an atomic orbital, it is the region in space around the nucleus of an atom where there is where the probability of finding the electron is maximum. So this atomic orbital, it belongs to one atom only, whereas the molecular orbital belongs to the it belongs to the whole molecule, in which we see the bonding these atoms are involved. Now, there are various postulates of this theory, this molecular orbital theory. We have got this. That I have told you that one of the postulates is that this molecular orbital, it represents the region in space comprising the nuclei of the combining atoms around which there is maximum probability of finding the electron density. Number second postulate of this theory is that the combining atoms have the combining these atomic orbitals, they must have or they have got equal energies in case of nuclear molecules. Homonuclear molecules means when the molecule is formed between two similar atoms, say O2, we have got N2, we have got this F2 fluorine. So these atomic orbitals, in such cases, they have got equivalent energies, or they have the energies are equal, and these are of in case of hetero molecules, these atomic orbitals should be of comparable energies. That means there should be a slight difference in their energies. Number third postulate of this theory is that the number of molecular orbitals formed is equal to the number of atomic orbitals which are involved in bonding. That means if two atomic orbitals take part in these and this chemical bonding, then we get two types of molecular orbitals are formed. So the number of molecular orbitals formed is equal to the number of atomic orbitals which are involved in bonding. Then another postulate of this MO theory is that according to linear combination of atomic orbitals, linear LCAO, that is linear combination of atomic orbitals, we see that when two atomic orbitals are involved, they form the two types of molecular orbitals result. One is known as bonding molecular orbital, and another is known as uh, anti-bonding molecular orbital. Now, another postulate, so two types of molecular result when two atomic orbitals are involved. One is known as bonding and another is known as anti-bonding. Now, as far as bonding molecular orbital is concerned, it is of low energy as compared to that those of these atomic orbitals, while as anti-bonding these molecular orbital, it is of high energy as compared to that of bonding molecular orbital plus the atomic orbitals which are involved in this chemical bonding. Now these bonding orbitals, the bonding molecular orbitals, they are designated by various, we have got various symbols. We have got sigma, we have got pi, delta. So this is how we represent these. You have got like this is say, for instance, this is sigma molecular, this bonding molecular orbital. Then we have got pi bonding molecular orbital, we have got delta. Now, as far as these anti-bonding molecular orbitals are concerned, the corresponding ones, we have got this is sigma star, this is sigma anti-bonding molecular orbital. Similarly, we have got pi anti-bonding molecular orbital. Then we have got delta anti-bonding molecular orbital. Now this is how we this is how these molecular orbitals are bonding molecular orbitals are represented. So this is a sigma bonding, this is pi bonding, this is a delta delta bonding. Then we have got this. These are the anti-bonding corresponding anti-bonding molecular orbitals. That is sigma star, pi star, and delta star. Now a molecular orbital, as we see that an atomic orbital can hold a maximum of 2 electrons as per Paul's exclusion principle. Similarly, a molecular orbital has got the capacity of holding only 2 electrons, and that too with opposite spinors. And these the filling of electrons, and these like just like the atomic orbitals, we see that these just like atomic orbitals, molecular orbitals are also arranged in order of their increasing energies. As we see that the atomic orbitals, where got s orbital has got less energy than p has got less energy than d, and similarly d has got less energy than f. In a similar way, these molecular orbitals, they are also arranged in order of their increasing energies. Now the filling of electrons in these molecular orbitals, takes place in accordance with Auer's principle, and it takes place in accordance with Hunter's rule and Pauli's exclusion principle. That means as far as these Auer's principle and is concerned, that we see the low energy orbitals get first these occupied. Similarly, Hunter's rule, it states that the electrons, in case of degenerate these molecular orbitals, or the molecular orbitals which are of same energy, the filling of electrons takes place in accordance with this Hunter's principle. That is these degenerate molecular orbitals, they get first singly filled, and then pairing starts. So this is these are the various these are the various these postulates of this molecular orbital theory. This is for today, and in our next lecture we will discuss how these bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbitals are formed as per a linear combination of atomic orbitals, how the wave functions of these atomic orbitals, they merge together, how constructive and destructive overlap takes place. That we will discuss in detail in our next lecture. This is for today. Thank you very much.